Welcome everybody to another episode of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Minimalist Run, and we're gonna go into the Maw of Death, that is the Dodongo Skull. Honestly, I thought the boss would have been right behind this door. I mean, it seemed big, imposing enough to be, but no, you got a couple more rooms and one last final puzzle or something to solve. And sure enough, I lost my shield. I knew it wasn't gonna last before I even started this dungeon. I mean, I can easily go buy another one from the Kakariko Forest or whatnot, but as it stands right now, you know, it's minimalist, and I only needed the shield once, and there's no real reason to get it again, so just won't be buying it and just be going without a shield. Outside, of course, the Hylian shield, which I need to get up to the top of Death Mountain. So, this room is really interesting. I'm not really sure what that block is there for. This block, of course, I know what it's there for. It's to get up to this higher ledge. But for the previous block, there's really no reason to get there since you can hop up there normally. Some of the design decisions in this particular dungeon are rather weird. That being one of them. The other one, of course, being the room with the traps and the hard to maneuver camera angles. So pretty much here's your standard block pushing puzzle, but to get to that, you're gonna have to, you had to go around through the multitude of rooms to get to the point where you could push that block. Obviously you want to kill these bats, otherwise they're gonna totally get in your way. This is me trying in vain to get away far enough where I could shoot at it without it hurting me first. So it's a pretty simple puzzle overall. I mean, if you were to drop in the pit and hit the switch, you'd be able to open the door to the boss. However, if you try to get out, of course the bars would slam back down and the switch would reset, which would pretty much require you to go around these series of rooms to find that block, if you didn't notice it was up on the ledge to begin with. So you come to a very empty room with a chest with nothing but bombs. That is a surefire hint to you that you're probably going to need to use them in the near future, like right now. And of course, to give you a little hint, there's a awkward looking symbol or looking texture in the middle there, which of course you bomb. Now I thought this was really cool. The fact that you're seeing the Dodongo first, not from Link's viewpoint, but from kind of the viewpoint of the actual boss itself. So you get to see kind of how puny Link is in comparison, and then as the camera shifts around, now you see the big King Dodongo. And not only this, but this is one of two bosses, outside of course Ganondorf, which has its own boss music. Some people like to call it the dragon boss music, because Volvagia also has this boss music. But pretty much, from what I gather, any boss in Death Mountain, this boss included, has this boss music. Now, as impressive as this particular boss is, it's extremely easy to beat. I'd almost want to say easier to beat than maybe Goma from the first dungeon. I mean, this is exactly the pattern that you need to fight him with. And, I mean, anybody who knows anything about Dodongos already knows how to beat this guy. You don't need Navi telling you anything. So as soon as he opens his mouth, you just throw a bomb in. And this boss is actually one of the few bosses where it only takes 4 hits to kill. Most other bosses are between 8 to 10 to 12 to 16, and I think Ganondorf himself is like 20 hits. This is the least amount of hits you need to strike a boss to kill it. 4 hits with the sword, and it's dead. This was more exercise in utilizing weapons and items to defeat the boss than actual skill in fighting the boss. This is an exercise in bomb inventory management. Although that is a pretty gruesome way to go. There's another heart container by the head. We're totally not going to take it. I always like the entrance to Darunia here. I think it's so hilarious. They just drop on him, and like, you could have totally squished him and killed him. And him smacking on the head gave Link probably a couple concussions there. Not gonna lie. I think pretty much anything the anything the Gorons do to show affection or to show, you know, good old friendship to another species that isn't their own, pretty much involves pain, suffering, and possibly death. Because I guess they just don't know their own strength. I mean, Link is still on the ground! He's still, like, comatose on the ground from that head slap. But he gets up for the Goron Ruby, of course. And look at those stubby legs of Darunia. Like, it's funny, because the Gorons have these huge, you know, massive arms, and big, you know, chests and bodies, and then they have these little stubby legs that hold up this whole bulk and mass. I'm like, oh gosh, they're gonna topple. But they got some muscles in those legs. He's telling the truth. You do need to see the Great Fairy for a Minimalist run. Because you're not going to get through the rest of this game without some sort of magic. Oh no, Link! Run! You're going to get squeezed to death. Go! Run like your life depended on it, because it probably does. Now, if you were to turn around right now, there's actually no Gorons chasing you. It was just for the cutscene. Because I remember first playing this game, and I thought they were still chasing me. So I kept running up the hill, and then I was like, I don't hear them anymore. And I turned around, and they were gone. And the next time I played through, I actually immediately turned around after the cutscene and trying to see them. But it was just for the cutscene. They don't show, actually. And I think you actually have to throw to hit not only this particular rock, but the next one as well. So all these techniques that you already learned with bombs in the Dodongo's Cavern, you learn here, or you have to utilize here to blow these two rocks up to get to the top of Death Mountain. And in fact, you have to learn a different type of timing, because the timing on normal bombs is a lot shorter than timing on bomb flowers. So as you can tell, or guess, my first time playing through the game, I had a lot more mistakes, yet again, trying to figure out how to time it well for the normal bombs. Probably got a couple deaths too. Now here, you cannot dodge the rocks. As a young child, the rocks will home in on your position and slam down on top of you. There's no avoiding it. So you're like required to buy that Hylian shield, which is too big for Link, so that he can use it as a back shield to defend himself like a turtle. Now, if you want to go visit the fairy up top or go into the Death Mountain crater from this angle as an adult, you can. And the rocks actually don't home in on you as an adult. They just do as a child, thus forcing you to use the shield. Now, the closer you get to the wall, the less you have to worry about the rocks falling on you, because obviously it's exploding around us, but no rocks have homed in on my position. Now this wall, oh my goodness, this wall. I had so much trouble and bad memories of this wall, and that was because I had completely forgot by the time I got here what I had done in the Deku Tree, which was shoot down these things first, these Skulltulas, before climbing up the wall. So here I was trying to do the same stupid mistake here that I did in the Deku Tree, which was not shoot them down with the slingshot, but to try and maneuver around the Skulltulas, climbing around them. Did not work out for me at all, and I got so frustrated with this part. And then when I finally realized I could shoot him down, I was really mad at myself. I won't lie. That's kind of a neat concept, to have a cloud ring around the mountain which dictates its health as a mountain? A volcano? When it's angry, the clouds turn to fire for some crazy reason? I don't know. Now if you go right into the open cave, you're actually going to the Death Mountain crater itself, which is way too hot for Link to be in. So you can only last maybe, at the health I'm at, 3 hearts, probably maybe 10-12 seconds tops. But this is technically the first fairy fountain that you should come across in the game. And obviously, with the Triforce mark right there, you should already assume what you need to do. Now, the fairies in this game are a little bit frightening. Especially for their first 3D appearance, the Great Fairies. Oh my gosh! What is that thing? Even Link's just like, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted. That and they got them Madonna boobs. Good lord. Someone spent some time crafting that model. And the camera angles too. Oh! That totally seals the deal right there. It's all like kind of from down below and at certain off angles to try and get great cleavage and great view on the fairy model here. Wouldn't be so bad, except, you know, they don't look all that great. They look actually rather horrifying. The one thing that can be said about the Great Fairy and its design is the 3-pronged ponytails that it has. I can see that be kind of a cool idea where she can, I guess, individually manipulate her 3 ponytails and, you know, for them to do whatever she wants, you know, regardless of wind or other conditions in the air. So now we have a magic meter. There's not much we can do with it right now. However, a lot of things, including some magic arrows, are going to require this particular ability to use magic. And unfortunately, it is something that's required for the Minimalist run. This is actually one of 2 times where Gaebora actively helps you out. So instead of going all the way down the mountain by foot, which would kind of be a long fall, he takes you all the way down the fast, quick, and awesome way. And he even kind of gives you an overall look of the mountain and even gives you a view of where you were at the very top, at the summit. Cool little sequence. The only other time he helps you, which is kind of not much of a help really, is Lake Hylia, where he also tells you he can take you out of Lake Hylia and drop you off somewhere else. Now, you appeared on top of the roof of the inn, which is important because at night it's actually home to one of the Skulltulas, and that's one of the only ways I think you can get to it unless you're an adult when you have the hook shot. So if you want to get that Skulltula early as a kid, you want Gaebora to drop you off from the top of Death Mountain. Well, now that you mention it, let's get our hint for the day from Soraya. And kind of to show off what Soraya's song does. And that's kind of why I played it. Thanks, Navi. Once told her. What else has the Deku Trees told Soraya? Seems like all her knowledge derives from either the forest or the Deku Tree. So we need to go all the way to this flashing spot right there. That is Zora's domain. Now normally I jump in the water and head straight over and cut a straight path to Zora's domain. However, the water flow is not with us. It's actually flowing against us, and it would take longer than we would want. Trying to find Zora's domain, I actually had a hard time trying to figure out that this overhang was actually the entrance to the river that would take you to the Zoras. I was searching all up and down here, and I didn't realize that this was actually a path you could take. I mean, I eventually found it, of course, but it didn't really dawn on me the first time walking past it. I'm like, oh, this is the route I need to take. I mean, I think I came here once before I went to Dodongo's Cavern, and then I saw the rocks there, and I couldn't get past them, and the river was flowing against me, so you can't go that way in the water. And I just, oh, well, I'll just come back here later, and then completely forgot about it. And then when they said, yeah, you gotta go to the Zora's River, which leads to Zora's domain, I'm like, where's that? I totally forgot about this place. But we're gonna explore this place and meet the Zoras for the first time, which are friendly now, compared to Link to the Past. But until then, see y'all in the next video, everybody.